What's going on, guys? This is Chandler Smith, and I am so excited about today because we are on our way to close on the 15-plex. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are wondering, well, Chandler, you just bought a brand new supercar. Wasn't that more exciting? And honestly, I love the new car. However, the most exciting thing for me will always be purchasing real estate. One, because the real estate is going to be able to pay for the car, but two, I love spending my money on the smart stuff, so then I can buy the not smart stuff. So we're gonna hop in the car and head over to close on this 15-plex. So with all of that being said, let's jump into things. All right, guys, if you're new to the channel, I'm gonna give you a quick update. In the last week, we've closed on our new dream home that we're in the process of building. I also just purchased the Stradman's Ferrari 458 Spider, and now today, just a couple days after, we're on our way to close on a 15-plex. Now, if you've been following the channel, you know that this 15-plex has been a killer deal, and it's also had a pretty intense negotiation, not only with the seller, but also with financing. And last minute, we were able to pull off some absolutely incredible stuff. So we're gonna walk you through the whole process, share the numbers with you, and give you everything you need to be able to dive into a bigger complex like this. The only thing that I ask you to do is make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the little bell so you can catch my future videos. And if you love this kind of information, make sure that you push the link below and go buy my real estate investing course. So all you have to do is click the link below, use the code STRADMAN, and you're gonna be able to get my whole real estate investing course. That's over 9 hours showing you everything you need to know to scale from no rental properties to over 100 doors of rental real estate, and you're gonna get it for just 99 bucks. Now, with all of that being said, let's go over and close on this property. All right, guys, we just came out of the bank and picked up the check for the down on this 15-plex. That's always the most nerve-wracking part of going and closing on one of these bigger complexes. So holding on to this with dear life, we're gonna hop into the car and go close on this thing. All right, guys, we are here. So we're gonna go in and we're gonna sign paperwork. We've done all of that. Now it's just time to bring in the check and go and close. And I just realized I forgot the check, the most important part.
The next day.
All right, guys, yesterday was absolutely insane. As you can see, I'm in a different shirt because it is a new day. But yesterday I went in, I got the check, I deposited the check, and we were able to close on the property. Now, the property doesn't actually fund until today, and the reason I didn't finish filming this video yesterday is because it was freaking nuts. We were supposed to close at 2 o'clock, but when I got the settlement statement, things didn't look right. They weren't in a good place because we'd forgotten a bunch of things. So because we ran into issues, this is a special reminder to make sure that you go through everything the day before. Now, what you wanna check is you wanna make sure interest rate is good. You wanna make sure your down payment is good. You wanna make sure that the loan terms are good. That means how long the loan is, when you have early payout, when you have adjustable rates, all of that stuff you wanna get in a great place. And I negotiated this loan extremely hard. So I went and checked everything. I ended up with a 3.7 interest rate. I have it fixed for 10 years on a 25-year AM, and I was able to get my closing costs down to literally nothing. So I got them down to 0.25% of my total purchase price, which is absolutely insane. So killed it on the loan terms, but I have to go through and make sure those look good. Now, once I've done that, I need to make sure that the seller has gotten all of the deposits for each of the units and prorated rents, and that all of those are accurate. When I looked at the statement, none of that was in there. So we had to scramble to make sure that we got that fixed and in there. The other thing we needed to go through is, as you'll remember, I negotiated to get $26,000 back at closing and 2% to pay for closing costs. Well, here's the deal. I hadn't worded that quite right. So it was supposed to go just towards closing costs. So I had to do a little bit of negotiation with the seller to make sure she gave me the full 2% because I had negotiated my closing costs down. I will talk later about how that negotiation went, but the combination of getting that extra 2% in, getting the 26 grand in, getting the deposits and the rents added ended up taking a couple hours. We had to send the title company through a mess. We had to send my credit union through a mess, but we ended up getting to a point where we could close on the property, but it couldn't fund until today. And in order for us to do that, I actually am gonna go and pick up a check. Man, cops are out today. I'm gonna go and pick up checks for the deposits and rents because we couldn't include them same day and take them away for when I needed to bring to close. This is why it's so crucial for you to do it right, because if you're tight on funds and you end up not having enough to bring to closing, or you're just tighter than you want to make sure you get it done early. Now, for me, it wasn't a big deal to just pay on the front end and then get checks back for the 26 grand, get checks back for the 2%, and get checks back for the prorations that we hadn't done correctly. So when I filmed the beginning of this video, I still showed the whole process, but I was hoping I would still be able to get over to the units and show you how the numbers panned out and show you the actual units, but it was dark by the time we finished up with things. So today, I'm going to I'm gonna show you the new units I just purchased, and I'm gonna talk about what I'm gonna do with rents, how I'm gonna increase them over the next couple months, and what my return on this property is gonna look like once I do that. So with all of that background, now we're gonna head over to the properties, give you a little look, and talk about the huge cash cow that this 15-plex is going to be. All right, guys, we got the one and only Garrett Myers here, and here's the deal. So we did a video about the storage units we're about to buy.
We've got big ones, small ones, and 2 variations of medium ones. Good ads, quality.
Great advertising, and so because we're picking up the 15-plex today, I decided I needed a couple ads for this, just to make sure we keep it filled, get the rents raised. Think you could help me out with that?
Let's get it done.
All right, we're gonna do some ads real quick. Make sure you stick around throughout the rest of the video because these ads are going to blow your mind while we're going through talking about this apartment complex.
What's going on, everybody? Are you tired of high utility bills from living in a house? Well, if you move into one of these, you'll have neighbors on both sides of you. It'll really cut that cost. Are you tired of throwing your trash in a garbage? At a place like this, the world is your dumpster. Come move in.
All right, guys, this is when you know you've got a killer property manager, when you come over and randomly find him doing work on your property. So I don't know what's going on, but we're about to see. What are you working on, Jace? You're a good man. Thanks. So for those of you that didn't put it together, first of all, this is Jace, best property manager in town. These units are the 32-plex that I bought last year, and then these are the 15-plex. It just worked out that they're right next to each other. Jace, you kind of prefer that, right?
I love that.
How pumped are you about 15 more?
Super excited.
Did your party lose this election and you want to move to a safe, family-friendly state? This is the place. Move on in. Hey millennials, are you sick of your mom telling you to get off of Fortnite? Well, if you move in here, you play all day and all night. Your mom won't even know.
All right, guys, on a more serious note, I want to run you through these properties and what we're planning on doing with them. So we actually have 15 units, go all the way over to there. And with these 15 units, the current rents are varying between like $600 and $750. Now, with these properties, we're not coming in trying to be slumlords or take advantage of people or anything else. As a matter of fact, we've got a lot of improvements we're planning on doing to the properties, but our actual expense on those improvements is pretty minimal. It's a lot of little stuff. Some need new paint, some need new flooring, but we actually got a lot back from the seller to be able to do all of these fixes. So my numbers are very clean on this property. Now, rents are very low. However, there are 1 or 2 units in here that the current property management company had already raised to $950, because the reality is that's what these places are worth. Now, when I say that's what they're worth, even that is a little bit of an understatement. And the reason for this is something like this should be renting at $1,100. Now, there are some even renting at $1,200. However, $1,100 is that sweet spot where I'm 100% confident that we can raise rents and keep these filled at much higher rents. Now, if you're doing the math, you can see this is another huge value add property, especially after we do a couple of fixes. We're gonna be able to increase rents pretty drastically, and what that's going to do is, well, it's just gonna make sure that we make a lot more money. Once I'm finished with renovations, cleaning up the property, and raising rents, this property should be up to a 15, maybe even a 16% cash on cash return. Now, if you're new to the real estate investing game, what that means is what I have invested in this property, just in cash flow alone, I'll be getting a 15 to 16% return. Now, anytime you're raising rents, this can be something that has a little bit of a negative connotation tied to it. So I want to explain it, because we don't want a negative connotation with that. We're just raising them to market value. We're not trying to take advantage of people, and what we actually do is we only raise rents on people once their lease is up. That's the legal way to do it. So there are people in here that their lease goes for another 5, 6 months, maybe even a year if they just signed their lease. We are not going to increase any of those rents until their lease is up. Then we're gonna send them a 30-day notice that says, hey, for all tenants, we're gonna be raising rents to $1,100. However, if you're already in this property, we're only raising rents to $990. That's over $100 less than what we will be charging. And the reason that we do that is a lot of these tenants are good. If they've stayed with us for their whole lease, we wanna do what we can to keep them. We're still going to increase rents, but their rents are still going to be drastically below what the average rents or what the market rents in this area are. Now, a lot of people will ask, well, Chandler, you're still raising people's rents. How is that fair? Like, how is that gonna go over well? And the reality is a lot of these people know that they are in housing that they got an absurdly good deal on. Like, this is something that has been mismanaged by the previous owner and more by the previous management company. That's why they had already started to raise rents. And the owner of this property has been absolutely incredible to work with. She knew our plan, and because of that, we paid a little bit more than we should have. However, we paid a lot less than what these are going to be worth once we raise rents, and that's why I'm getting such a great return. So it ended up being a win-win for me, a win-win for the seller, and we're in a place where we can increase rents. We can still keep them below what market is if they were to move somewhere else for the tenants that are already here, and we can come in and charge market rents for those that are moving new into the properties. Now, I'm gonna do another video in the future on this 15-plex and run you through the entire process of how we're able to increase rents. However, this is the perfect deal. And it's the same with this 32-plex that I purchased last year. These are the deals that you wanna find, where the seller is motivated to get rid of them. They understand that they're undervalued, but they don't wanna go through the process of raising rents. So you come in, you pay more than what they're worth with what their current rents are, but you know you can get the rents to a place where you're getting an incredible deal. And the reason that I love these deals is it's something where you can come in, you can add huge value, you can renovate, you can clean up the properties. It's a win-win for you and the seller. And because you have a skill set and you know how to increase the value of the property, you can take a property that when you buy it maybe is cash flowing $5,000 to $10,000, getting heck, this property was probably only getting a 5 to 6% cash on cash return when I purchased it. But here a couple months from now, once we've increased rents to where they should be, this property is going to be pulling in a 15 to 16% cash on cash return, and it's going to be a huge win on a property. Now, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you push the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the little bell so you can catch future notifications. And remember, there are just a couple days left for you to be able to buy my real estate investing course. Now, this course is usually $300. However, we've knocked the price all the way down to just 99 bucks until November 9th at midnight. So make sure you go in, use the code STRADMAN. I decided to use that because he was the one that sold me the car, and he's getting into real estate investing now as well. So make sure you use that code and you're going to get the entire course, 8 hours plus of real estate investing advice that shows you step-by-step how to go from no properties of rental real estate to scaling into single family, duplex, fourplex, and eventually getting into these bigger multifamily deals. Everything is in that course, and so make sure you go and snag it before the deal is over. And again, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button, and we'll look forward to seeing you guys in the future videos.